Reading for February 15th, Science of Mind, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 106, paragraph 1, through page 108, paragraph 1, using inclusive language. People's relationship to the spiritual universe. People reenact the nature of God. Whatever is true of the universe as a whole must also be true of the individual as some part of this whole. We are evolved from the universe as a self-conscious, thinking center of living spirit, and as such we must, in our nature and being, reproduce the universe. If we realize that God is triune, and that we are a spiritual likeness of God, we shall see that the whole scheme of life and the whole nature of the divine being is reenacted through us. This, of course, does not mean that we are God. It means that in our small world of individual expression, our nature is identical with God's. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "As the Creator hath life within itself, so hath it given to the children to have life within themselves." This refers to inherent life, real life. That is the only life God could have. We must expect to find in people, therefore, the same inherent attributes that we find in the universe from which they spring. A single drop of water is not the whole ocean, but it does contain within itself the same qualities and attributes. We are made out of and from life. As effect must partake of the nature of its cause, so we must partake of the divine nature from which we spring. We did not create our nature. We cannot change its inherent reality. We are what we are, and we use this nature for better or worse. Being what we are, there are certain responsibilities that go with our natures, certain obligations. If our thought is creative, and if we have selectivity, that is, volition and choice, and if we are unfolding to a discovery of our true nature, we must already be perfect. Then the obligation and responsibility of this nature could impose freedom or bondage upon us temporarily. But our bondage cannot be real from the standpoint of the absolute. The world has learned all it should through suffering. The science of mind and spirit makes a tremendous claim when it states that the individual should be free from the bondage of sickness, poverty, and unhappiness. It does, however, carefully set forth the conditions under which freedom operates and the laws governing life, stating in no uncertain terms that unless we understand these conditions and obey these laws, we will not receive full benefit from its teachings. The world is beginning to realize that it has learned all it should through suffering and pain. Surely there can be no intelligence in the universe that wishes us to be sick, suffer pain, be unhappy, and end in oblivion. Surely if God or universal intelligence is imbued with goodness, then it could not ordain that we should ultimately be other than a perfect expression of life. We have shown that our nature is the same as God's nature. We have no intellectual difficulty in realizing that an infinite intelligence could not make an automatic individuality. And this explains why we suffer on our road to self-discovery. Our suffering is not God ordained because we create our own experience as we become individualized. By individuality is meant self-choice, volition, conscious mind, personified spirit, complete freedom, and a power to back up that freedom. We cannot imagine a mechanical or unspontaneous individuality. To be real and free, individuality must be created in the image of perfection and let alone to